From the backstretch at Saratoga, this is Loose on the Lead with Steve Bick and Seth Merrow. Loose on the Lead is sponsored by
Loose on the Lead. Guests are in the
That's
house.
how loose it is.
Yeah.
It's a free-for-all.
Steve Bick back in the house. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How was the
Get
trip?
a good look because I'm leaving. I'm not staying.
How was the trip? To Woodbine in Kentucky or
Virginia.
Virginia, yeah.
Both fabulous. Very different too. Very different. That officially my first Kings Plate.
Why don't you go to a slate and we will fix that. Your mic fell off.
No, it didn't.
Oh, no, it didn't fall off.
It's right here. Huh?
All right, we're back. There were technical difficulties that were not actually technical difficulties.
How do you deal with this?
Don't get me started.
I mean, and honestly, when something goes wrong on the radio, I mean, typically it's typically nothing we do. It's Spectrum, it's whatever. The other day we had the power go out during that storm. The one day I did the show from home on that Wednesday, it's crazy. Boom, power goes out. We were just talking about Toronto, and last year we tried to go to the Kings Plate, and they had those violent storms and 6-7 inches of rain in 2 hours, and it washed it out. And then they rescheduled. It is a terrific event. One thing that's very interesting, as it's a good sized plant, Woodbine, but they limit attendance. Last year, 20,000. This year, they dialed it back even to 15. And it's sort of unusual. I mean, the place it's intimate in that regard.
Yeah, I'm thinking they don't really have any kind of backyard area to speak of. The paddock's back there.
They're still working on it. For those of you that have never been, or if you haven't been since they built the hotel, there is this massive expansion going on. And there's going to be all kinds of this shopping. The casino is just to the outside of the track. Then there's the hotel. They're putting in a rail siding, which will be able to get you downtown or to the airport. The airport is 3 seconds anyway. They put on a fabulous show, and I can't recommend it, highly enough.
We're out for the Woodbine Mile right after the meet. So
there you go. You and I went years ago for Tepin, which was a thrill. Yeah. So that was fabulous. And Virginia, too. We were down at Colonial, and that's like my 6th year going down to Colonial. And I guess, what was that, the 3rd million?
That sounds right.
I think the 3rd million now at Colonial. And they get excited. I mean, all of the Virginia racing turns out. And that's another place where, if you've never been, I can't push it hard enough. So we had a great couple of weeks. And, of course, earlier, the trip to Monmouth. Been here the other half of the time, and we'll leave Tuesday for Kentucky Downs. We'll bring you live coverage from Kentucky Downs every day of the meet, plus the Keeneland Sale, Book 1, then Churchill's fall meet, and then we'll be at Pennsylvania as well as at the Racetrack Officials Accreditation Program meeting at Fair Hill on the 16th. So next 5 weeks on the road, and I'll have to reach out to you on the road when you're in Toronto.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it. You want to do the DePaula play of the day?
Sure, we can do that. And the DePaula play, we had a tough beat on Thursday. That out of Waterbury, that was a 10-1. That one stung a little bit. The place and show mutuals were all right. I went to the 10th race today. This 12-5 claimer. And there's a 12-1 shot. The 7 off the claim, Mike Maselli. And we'd like to not only get him off the claim, we want to get him off the duck. And at 12-1, Macaw to me, is very live. 4-year-old gelding coming out of a win, claimed off of Roddy Valenti, and all he's got to do is run back to that win. And I don't see why he wouldn't. Came out of a 17-5, and Maselli drops in. They're willing to lose $5,000 on the claim. Purse is $34,000. So if they can win and then somebody wants to take him, they double their money. So I can get the placement, and I don't mind Dylan getting aboard, although Kendrick moves over to Rhythm Nick, one of the favorites, the 10. It's a competitive race, but at 12-1, Macaw is a big overlay, and your DePaula play of the day.
Excellent. Also, give a little shout out to Beat Pick again. A couple more weeks of that.
We've got one more week after today. Yesterday, I tried Matticat Road in the Jerkins, and although Patch Adams, the favorite, wins, I mean, it could have been any of those 8. Yeah. It was that kind of a group. Terrific effort by Captain Cook, by the way. And shout out to David Aragona. David had 2 beats yesterday that were unbelievable. He talked with me on the show Friday. He and Mike Beer. He liked Captain Cook in the Jerkins and Darth Vader in the personal ensign. And so to lose, by a cumulative, 4 inches, maybe 9 inches. Yikes. Yeah. Today, we go out to Ellis Park. I wasn't sure about what to do about here with the West Point small field, and who knows, the weather is seemingly threatening. But we went out to Ellis Park, and you know what? I've got to look, because I'm drawing a blank.
Well, people go to the website.
They go, yeah. Well, you go to NTRA, NTRA.com/NHC/BeatVic, and it's that Ellis Park Turf group that closes out the meet. Today's the last day. By the way, almost a $200,000 must-pay pick 6 carryover at Ellis today as the meet ends, and Thursday they open at Kentucky Downs, and I'll be there for you.
Very good.
All right.
Anything else you want to hit on before we?
If you want to, Derek Ryan's going to join us presently. If you want to talk about the feature for a second, you want to quickly do the Travers? Because
sure.
I don't know how much of a chance we'll get later.
Yeah. And we pulled up a replay of the entire race here, and Sovereignty again goes off as the 3-10 favorite, as the number 4 horse, Junior Alvarado, clearly gives them a very nice ride and a confident ride. They're going to wind up winning by 10. The buyer figure a 115. But what were your thoughts yesterday?
Well, obviously in retrospect, any notion of beating this horse was, what do they call it? Tilting windmills, whistling in the dark, fool's errand, whatever you want to say. But this is his best performance, obviously. And he also, in this effort, he also confirms that the 1.25 miles and the true route distance, this is a horse that's well on his way, not only to the 3-year-old championship, obviously, but how is he not the favorite for the Breeders' Cup Classic?
Yeah, you would think.
After this, this was a absolutely spectacular performance. Magnitude, when those splits start going up, 23-2, 47-2, and then 111-1, you say to yourself, well, as though, why won't he keep going? And he actually dropped anchor a lot earlier than you might have expected. Strategic focus was fractious in the gate and unsettled, and he sort of hopped. And I think he wanted to be a little bit more involved. Now he's down. You see him down in the side. He is a complete. He walked across the line. He was beaten 70 lengths. Bracket buster, you got to give some real credit to, and I thought that Luis Saez did everything right here. He takes control. What a great summer it's been for the Big Blue Nation people, BBN. Vicky Oliver here earlier, of course, this summer. Rusty Arnold with the test winner. He takes over here and just forget it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is.
And again, I think it validates just what you said. He's a 1.25 mile horse, clearly. And press conference afterwards, Bill Baum was asked that, and he said, clearly likes the 1.25 miles, but 1.125 miles is right within his wheelhouse as well. But this is a classic distance runner. Just took away and ran away from that field nicely. And I will go back to BBN and Bracket Buster. They were clearly thrilled in the winner's circle afterwards as their horse came back. They said, I heard them talking. The group was together, and they said, short of a win, this was the best thing. Vicky Oliver had a big smile on her face. Tried to get her in here, but she was headed back early this morning. But
I'll get her on. I'll get her on down at.
I said
Kentucky
Steve will
Downs.
probably grab you for the radio, but that was a big second place performance for them.
There's something else that this horse is also doing that he's propelling. I would think Junior Alvarado to an Eclipse Award, and I made this case earlier in the week, and you fold in the Arlington Million and some of the other big wins he's had. Junior doesn't get. Frankly, I mean he's totally plugged into that Mott barn with Mike Solito and Mott, but Junior Alvarado. Those of you that vote. You better be real open to having Junior at the top of your ballot because he's having a career year, and you don't necessarily have to have the most wins or the most earnings. He might anyway, the way things are shaping up, especially if they win the Breeders' Cup Classic.
There was a lull there, and as you say, was tied in with Mott and some of the Godolphin runners.
But he's spread around though. Shug, Shug has talked this year. He started using him over the winter. Shug grabs him when he can. So, by the way, how about Shug yesterday? Getting off the duck, came in 0 for 18, and there's a real story to be told there. Maxfield had 2 horses in the race. Maxfield's first crop is running. His first 20 starters, his first time starts, he had 5 wins coming into this race. I actually picked Chad with that Glamorize. I thought the $1 million purchase by John Stewart, Resolute Racing. I thought Chad might, have him really gig to run well. But Shug also had the Maxfield that Stuart Janney bred. And Maxfield, I mean, obviously he can't, unless they dead heated, he wasn't going to get 2 wins. He's now 6 for 22. And this is a horse who was only got real good at 6 and 7.
Yeah.
So for Maxfield to be sending out first-time starters going 5.5 and 6 and 6.5, and Maxfield, give some extra credit next time you see him in the maiden special weights. It's a big. I reached out to Brendan Walsh. Brendan is keeping a close tab, and Maxfield
and Shug. Was continuing a streak. He had a winner in 41 straight years up here at Saratoga. And coming into the last 8 days, was on the Schneid and got his 42nd year.
He had a great quote. He had a great quote to Teresa Gennaro, where somebody asked, where is that something you think about? He said, well, I'm real worried about. I was real worried about getting a win than I was extending the streak.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Derek Ryan is in the house. Bookham Danno yesterday. We'll obviously talk about that and more a little bit later on. Joe Lee, who had the winner in the Lake Placid.
Yeah,
all
great.
of that. When Loose on the Lead.
Pour an Irish coffee. Derek Ryan's joining us next.
And they're off. Chevrolet, Mazda, and Ford right now at the DePaula Auto Group. Take off the savings you need on the vehicle that you want. New cars, trucks, SUVs, hybrids, and all electric. Delivered with DePaula savings. And the DePaula Auto Group has hundreds of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Remember, DePaula can service any make and model and has over 100 service bays. So buy DePaula. Think DePaula for all of your automotive needs. DePaula Auto Group. Chevrolet, Mazda, Ford, and pre-owned. DePaula.com.
Turn your love of racing into savings with equine discounts through the NTRA. Purchase through equine discounts and receive great savings on well-known brands like John Deere, Sherwin-Williams, Big Ass Fans, Farmers Insurance, and Office Depot. Join thousands of other equine members and support companies that give back to the sport we all love. Call 866-678-4289 or visit equinediscounts.com to start saving today.
And they're off. Chevrolet, Mazda, and Ford right now at the DePaula Auto Group. Take off the savings you need on the vehicle that you want. New cars, trucks, SUVs, hybrids, and all electric. Delivered with DePaula savings. And the DePaula Auto Group has hundreds of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Remember, DePaula can service any make and model and has over 100 service bays. So buy DePaula. Think DePaula for all of your automotive needs. DePaula Auto Group. Chevrolet, Mazda, Ford, and pre-owned. DePaula.com.
We're back on Loose on the Lead after a fabulous Travers day, and of course, it's not just the Travers, and especially on a day when you had such an overwhelming favorite in the feature. The rest of the card dotted with stars, with a horse of the year who came through. Certainly, the New Jersey bred of the year last year, this year, maybe next year. Bookham Danno, and happy to welcome Derek Ryan in, a horse that just keeps producing, which is on you, keeping him like this now for, 3 years, really.
It's his third year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's funny. After the Vanderbilt, we were in the winner's circle, and one of the questions was, well, you're coming back, you're going to come back for the Forego. And you were ambivalent.
Yeah, I always know where I'm going, but I just like to keep it close to my. I plan months in advance. We planned this way back in January when I brought it back in.
And this now ties together the Grade 3 win up here in the True North during Belmont Festival, then the Vandy at the beginning of the meet, and now the Grade 1, multiple Grade 1 winner. And what is he now? He's 4 for 5 now here.
Yeah. He seems to like this track a lot.
There aren't too many tracks he doesn't like.
No, he's a legit horse. He as they say, he'd run on a tin roof.
What, aside from this spot, and we'll talk about the performance and watch some video too, but Derek, to keep a horse like this sound and sharp for this extended a period. This was start 16. He's 10 for 16.
10. He probably should be 12 for 16.
Well,
there's one or two there that bad trips and
the Perryville
like and Perryville, especially the Perryville.
Yeah. Well, the thing at Churchill Downs, I mean, any of 4 horses, 5 horses could have won.
And that was a great race. It's a key race. I mean,
yeah.
The horse who won the race in Charlestown came out of there. He was third, nose in front of us, I think. And Todd Fletcher's horse, Mind Frame. So it was a key race. That's how tough it was.
Talking about near misses, talk a little bit about the decision, because last year you go over to the Saudi Derby off a win in the Pasco at Tampa. There's probably not a lot of Saudi Derby runners coming out of Tampa. What was the decision-making process to come from the Pasco at Tampa and just missed a Forever Young in Saudi?
Probably shouldn't have either.
Really?
No, I spend the winters in Tampa every year. I think it's the best training surface in the country. Every year, we go there, have a couple with a plan. The surface is great. They do really good. And when you come out of there, I think like 6 years in a row, I shipped up one up to New York and they win right off the bat. So it seems to work for me,
He bypassed. Take us back to last year, because after the Perryville, I mean, which was sort of on top of Breeders' Cup, and what went into the decision to bypass Del Mar?
I'm not a big fan of shipping all the way over the West Coast. I don't know why. I mean, there's nothing against it. I just wanted to do the Perryville and then the cigar mile and then give him his break. And it was just something in my head. That's what I wanted to do.
As a 3-year-old, maybe just not. I mean, is the thinking a little different now for the fall? No, it doesn't. No, you're not going.
I mean, I won't say I'm not, but like I said, I plan way ahead and I have a good idea where we're going, but it could change.
All right. Well, and of course the Atlantic 6 team, they've been beside themselves for 2.5 years. Yeah. They think they're in like a permanent dream, this group.
Yeah, I mean, like I said last year when I told them I want to go to Saudi Arabia, they might have thought it was a bit crazy at the time. I'm like, Saudi Arabia? What do you got out there? But Jay, who runs Atlantic 6, he's a great guy. He knows the business. And he's like, whatever you want to do, if that's what you think is the right thing. And which starts to help, to train him. Like I said, listen, I have always a plan, and I let Jay pretty much know what's going on. And, we talk it over and go from there.
Well, and then the other part of this equation, the longer he holds this outstanding form, and the bigger spots that he turns up in, the better it is for Bucaro.
Yeah, it's very good for Bucaro,
right?
Especially that he just stands out there all day.
Exactly.
And he's just a good horse. But horses are like, I always like. They're like cars. There's only so many times you can go to the well, and more miles on the clock. You got to take care of him. I mean, and he'll always come first. Like, we'll go over him now. I'll x-ray him up and down tomorrow, make sure everything's in place. And if it's not, we'll do right by the horse first.
Well, and you've given him, you have given him, little, 75-day freshenings at some certain junctures.
Yeah, like when we came back from Saudi, he went to my buddy Joe Hennessy in Ocala. I don't know if he used to gallop for Leo O'Brien, 4-star Dave, and he trained in Saudi Arabia. So when the horse went out there, I sent him with the horse. So I had a big edge.
How about
he
that?
He knew everybody there, and it was a big edge. Wow. Have someone that knows the lay of the land, as they say. So that was half the reason.
10 for 16 now. He's approaching $2 million in earnings. He's a New Jersey bred.
Wow.
Did you know right away that you had something special in the barn when he came to your barn?
No, I'd be lying if I said I did. We had a New York bred who came. They bought him at the same time. A horse called Two's a Crowd, who won here last year.
Yeah.
And they both came in together. And Two's a Crowd's a real, real pretty mover. And I was like, wow, this is a really nice horse. I said, what about the other one? I said, well, he paddles around there. He ain't the prettiest mover, but. So you never know.
And we'll watch the race now. We'll pull up the race and just talk a little bit about how well Paco fits with him. And if watching before the race, he gave him a funny warm-up. The rest of the horses are kind of marching to the gate, and Paco's out here doing figure eights, and which was very interesting to watch that pre-race. Talk about how he fits with the horse and your impressions yesterday with the nice win in the Forego.
Well, he's a big, strong, heavy horse and needs to be warmed up. And that Paco was known for that. He always takes him away from the pony. And like I said, Paco, him, is like, you warm up the engine and get him going. And I don't think he gets the credit he should get. I mean, Paco Lopez is the hardest working jockey in the country. Like last week, he drove to Colonial, rode 2 days, drove up here for Friday, win a stake from Mike Trombetta, drove back to Colonial, the next day back to Mom, and I don't know how he does it. But, I mean, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. I think he's a great jockey.
And talk about this performance yesterday. You're sitting in a nice spot coming to the top of the stretch. What were your feelings as you were watching him come down the stretch?
I knew he was close. And Paco knows, not that he has to be on the outside. He just needs a horse on his inside, a target. And he knows that. And he says, I said, just get him out to someone on his inside, which he did. And right there, I said, he's got the lead now. I said, it's going to take a hell of a horse to run him down because he's game, And I was afraid off his last race. It was such a big effort that he might regress a little bit. And he probably did. But at the same time, he's just game, He's just a racehorse.
One thing about him that's interesting, and I'm glad we got the Paco portion of this in, because let's be fair. Some of Paco's reputation issues are Paco's own
Yeah, like
he's a little. He can get a little too aggressive.
He got a lot of bad press for racing filly, but I mean, it's like I said to everybody, I ride horses. He was on a horse that was bolting. It's like being in a car hitting black ice.
Right.
You're out of control. And if you watched there 2 weeks ago, he rode about a month ago, he rode a horse in Monmouth. It did the same thing. Nearly turned around of Jane Sabelli's, a maiden, and was going to win. He didn't panic, finished third. Most people would never ride the horse back. He rode it back in Colonial and win by 5.
Because he understood.
Nobody else wanted to ride the horse. There's nothing about him. He's just an unbelievable jock.
Well, watching the replay, what's interesting about him is it's not a horse that necessarily reaches. He's kind of got his legs under him, right?
Well, he's not a pretty mover,
and that's part of it.
He's not a ballerina.
I love it. Well, but at the same time, he's efficient, right? I mean, he doesn't waste. He's not wasting motion.
Yeah, he's like actually the girl jock in Monmouth, Madison Oliver. She gets on him every day for me.
Oh, nice.
And she breathes him better than Paco. Tell you the truth.
Interesting.
And I try and put her on as many horses as I can in the afternoon, but she gets along great with him. She gallops him every day. Paco worked him 2 weeks ago. No, 3 weeks ago I had him working a half. So just go an easy half at 50. He went 54. I think you ain't working him no more. Get out of here.
You want to get something out of the work.
And Paco worked him back, and he went in a minute, and then she worked him last Saturday out of the gate for me.
Minute to 3. Was that?
That was the 5/8.
That was the 5/8.
And that was nearly a disaster because it was a horse got loose going the wrong way flat to the board and nearly ran into it. Yeah. He's turning for home, turning into the stretch, and here comes this thing right at him. I was like, oh my God.
Holy cow.
You say you have the season kind of planned out ahead of time. I'm curious because you started this season with that brand new Colonial meet. So what was your game plan going there?
He's Virginia certified.
There you go.
And that was, I figured it'd be a great. I like to start as easy. Well, I like to keep them all in easy spots if you could, but I figured that would be a great start out. Virginia certified. It wouldn't be too hard on him because we knew that we were going to go to Churchill, and we knew that was going to be a tough spot.
And talk a little bit about the Saratoga season, though. Again, you had that planned out. You go grade 3 in the True North, a grade 2 in the Vanderbilt, and a grade 1 in the Forego. You and the owners have to be over the moon after the Saratoga season. He said it's just been phenomenal. It's not often a horse comes to Saratoga and wins 3 graded stakes in the summer.
No, especially because there's usually only the 2 races.
Exactly.
I don't think it'll be done again, but I'm blessed to have him, and I probably won't ever have another one like him. I don't have a lot of good horses, so to have one good one is better than having none.
This raises the profile, certainly. And talk a little bit about how you got into the game.
That's a good question. As all these kids growing up in Ireland, it's like sports, hurling, golf. One of my brothers is a golf pro. I lived from here to your cameras from a golf course, so I played golf all my life. All I wanted to do when I was a kid is be a jockey, but I realized very quickly I was no good. And I sort of started, training horses when I was 17. Now all I want to do is play golf.
Where in Ireland did you grow?
Tipperary.
Right in Tipperary. Tina and I were there we were in Ireland for Christmas 2 years ago. John Parada,
I
don't know, and they're in Athlone, so we spent Christmas with them, and then we went across to Galway, and then worked our way. And you're driving, and you go. There's Tipperary. The track is literally
right there. Yeah,
it's right on the road.
Yeah, Galway's good. My brother was the pro in Galway Bay for a couple of years, so I played there a few times, and I was home there a few weeks ago and played golf 3 days.
The best part of going to Ireland is, as you're traveling, every 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers, there's a sign. Racetrack. Everywhere you go. I tell you where we ended up spending an overnight before getting to Dublin was in Kilkenny.
Oh yeah, there's a good racetrack there.
And what a nice town that is.
Gowran Park.
What a nice
most decent sized towns that have a golf course and a racetrack and a hurling field
and a pub.
and a pup. You got it.
Maybe
And they all
2 or 3 pups.
and they all commingle. You do one, and you go there, then you go there.
Well, Derek, this is some great story, and continued success. This is a horse that's so easy to root for, and the fan interest has he's really.
Yeah,
there's been a big swell of with every passing win.
Yeah, I suppose the name is very catchy, and I'm old enough to know I was a big Hawaii 5-0 fan, so I actually know who Bookham Danno was.
Exactly.
The younger crowd mightn't, but Steve McGarrett.
Yeah. And as you say, he has become a fan favorite. And it goes back to Monmouth.
Yeah, I'll go back to Monmouth probably tomorrow or the next day. And I'm a big believer in, like, I got a big round pen and he rolls every single day, and I don't have one here. Like, he loves to roll. That's his thing. And then we'll come up with a plan. I'm sure the Breeders' Cup will come into it, and we'll make a decision. He'll either go straight to the Breeders' Cup or maybe Keeneland, one or the other. So we'll sit down and see what's going to happen.
Bookham Danno, the Bucero gelding, and he's not even a mature horse yet. Is there more upside, or do you think this level where he is?
God, I pray there's more upside.
Yes, right.
Because without him, I probably still wouldn't be doing this game. It's getting very tough, and without good clients, it's just so hard anymore to make it. And you need good horses to compete, and you have him, and then you go look at the other ones, and you're like, God, I have to come in every morning and look at these ones.
But a horse like this raises the profile, certainly,
yeah.
And hopefully that leads to bigger and better things. But he's been phenomenal. And again, as Steve said, he's become a kind of a fan favorite, too. And you heard that as he came down the stretch yesterday. That's got to be gratifying. Be up here in Saratoga, big crowd, and he comes out the stretch. Everybody erupts.
Yeah, it's very gratifying to have a horse like that.
Well, and you and I talked, I think it was even last year. We were at Monmouth when I was in for Haskell with Hammer. And the concentration of talent in so few hands, and this is not your first big graded stake winning horse.
No,
that's what's bizarre about this, the industry could do a better job of helping. The
industry, I think the business plan of it is broken. I mean, when I came around, Wayne Lucas, God rest his soul, he had a string in 6 states, and all those assistants became great trainers.
Sure.
You had Todd Pletcher, Kieran McLaughlin, Dallas Stewart, Mike Maker, all became very successful, great trainers, because they had to. That was their thing. Now they all have their, like, Chad is all maybe 200 horses up here, and Todd does. It's not a knock on them. I mean, people want to send them their horses, and that's the business. But now you don't have those trainers having a string in like I think Lucas had Monmouth, Belmont, Churchill, Chicago, Delaware, and California.
Yeah.
You don't have that anymore.
Well, Jack Van Berg too.
And it doesn't help the business. So now, like you had a couple of big stake races here, the Diana, and there's like 5 horses and one trainer at 3. That's not good for the game. Not good for the gamblers. It's it's
frustrating for.
So the business model is broken a little bit. I don't know how the fix is on it, but it's not getting better.
No. The industry. There was a certain point, I would say maybe 15 or 20 years ago, the industry was directing. Seemingly was with their own publicity machinery. They were directing new people in the game to a couple of outfits, and that did nobody any favors.
No, and as well. Now you have a lot more syndicates, and you're trying to get these people in the game, and they're like, "Well, who's your trainer?" Oh, it's say Todd Pletcher. Oh, great, we're in. Oh, Derek Ryan. Well, who's he? And I understand that. That's part of the game.
Yep.
They have to sell out and to say, oh, it's going to Billy Mott. It's very easy to get people involved. Whereas, like I said, back in the day, you were allowed 40 stalls in New York. That was it.
That's a whole. And the funny thing, people say, why don't we go back to stall limits?
It's too late now.
It's way too late for that,
it's
because now you got these training centers, and they'll just rotate horses off the farm.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of them training off the farm anyhow.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of them.
It's very
so
tough.
I don't know how to I don't know what the fix is, but I mean, you need, especially for the gamblers, like you need a maiden special weight with 10 horses in it. You need a stake race with like our race yesterday had a full field.
Yeah, eight is a solid number.
But there was a good gambling race for the gamblers, and like Bobby Kalina used to say, we're here to sell bets, not to make small fields for people. That was his thing.
Yeah, he's not Bob Kalina from Monmouth, and not wrong. There's a frankly not enough. There's not enough track management personnel that understand that selling bets is
the business.
The priority.
It's the business model.
Exactly. That's which is.
Don't ask me what the fix is, but something will have to change.
But now those partnership people say, "Who's your trainer?" And they say Derek Ryan. Now they say, "Oh, book him, Danno. I'm in." Yeah.
You know, I haven't picked up one client from this horse.
Well, we talked about this last. That's what I was leading to.
No.
Last year, I said, "Have you had any?" And you said, "No."
What? Nothing. Which I understand that. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but maybe I'm a little grumpy at times.
Well, and I say this, you know, and I'd like to think that I talk to more trainers over the course of the year, really, than anybody. And you say it all the time. Not only do you have to manage an animal, you have to manage personnel, you have to be a bookkeeper, then you have to somehow be a marketer of yourself and an advertiser. You got to be out there glad handing, potential clients. That's a skill set that is not. It's just not practical. That
No.
Everybody can't be good at all of those things, and you got to get to a certain critical mass. You've never struck me as somebody who's going to turn over the day-to-day operation and not put your hands on the horse every day, so that you can go out and concentrate on building the client base.
Yeah, you're right about that. Even like you'll see, there's a lot of like the real big owners you'll see, like Stoner Street, and they're all joining forces buying maybe 5 2-year-olds for $20 million. Before they all had 5 on their own.
True. It's very true.
And I mean, those guys don't need to be partners. They need to be on their own. Spread them out.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. The sportsman, the sportsman mentality. There's just not as much of that anymore. And I mean, yes, there's been people that keep coming into the game. This story with Tom Amos. And how about Amos? 8 wins now at the meet for Amos.
And those 2 2-year-olds he bought, for not a lot of money, for good money.
Solid money, yeah.
But, whereas normally those type of horses, as good as they are, there's like 5 millionaires each own a share in them, which is not good for them. To me, it's not good for the business. We need them on their own.
Well, and he's got that, Greg Tremontine, which was now operating under Greenwell Thoroughbreds. That's Big Dom, named for the Eagles fixer, Dom DeSandro. Go Birds. And how about the Fightins?
And we've had some people try to buy this horse, a Resolute try to buy him, and all of a sudden they want to do this and that. And
no, well, good for Atlantic.
They wanted to send him to Dubai or whatever, leave him with a trainer out there, and they said no, which is good.
Well, they deserve it. Anybody that Eastern Seaboard, Tampa, Jersey, New York, and you've been winning in New York. You and Butch Reed, not every Mid-Atlantic trainer comes up here and wins.
Yeah, you got to pick your spots, and you got to bring a live. Like I had a horse in the other day. Actually, the owners from Saudi Arabia own him, and the time before it was came out. I thought I had him in a great spot, like a Tree Lifetime for 50, and I was 20-1. I couldn't believe it. And he drew the 1 hole, and he ended up on the lead, and he's a closer. And I said, what the hell? So I put him in for 30 Tree Lifetime, and I brought up Sammy Camacho because he'd win on him down there. I said, I don't care how fast he breaks. Take him back to last and make one run. And he circled the field. He was 12-1, longest shot on the board, and win and got claimed. I'm like, how could you claim him? He's 12-1. But we cashed the bet. I mean, still like to bet a little bit now and again.
Attaboy. I love it. Now, Derek Ryan, continued success. Book him, Danno, and we'll see. We'll see if you turn up in San Diego or not.
You never know.
I love it.
Good luck if you do, however, and congratulations on, again, a great summer with Bookham Danno up here. We'll be looking forward to it.
I wish it was a little longer.
Then the decisions would all be made.
Come back in the Vosburg.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, congratulations on the great summer with Bookham Danno.
Cheers. I really appreciate it.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll shift our attention to the Lake Placid Mayday Ready Joe Lee in the house. Stay tuned.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Now the sport of thoroughbred racing is combining those timeless traditions with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards of equine safety to the highest level. Wearable biometric devices measure subtle changes in a horse's stride to help optimize safety and performance. State-of-the-art imaging technology helps pinpoint areas of potential concern for early intervention by expert veterinarians. And the sport's new independent regulator, the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority, is using AI and enhanced data modeling to help prevent injury.
Quarter mile was a quick one.
From sunrise to sunset, there's an ecosystem of trust and care and a commitment to well-being. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
We're back on Loose on the Lead on this Sunday, post-Travers Day, post-Lake Placid Day, and pretty cool, actually, that our two trainer guests, Derek Ryan and Joe Lee, and on a big day for the two of you to come away with two of the biggest prizes. And, you know, leading into Saturday, they made Play with Fire the favorite, but a lot of people, it's pretty unanimous that Mayday Ready was the horse to beat. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
She's been just terrific. And, you know, obviously the Belmont Oaks, the mile in the eighth, and, you know, I think getting back to the mile probably. I mean, I understand why you try the Oaks, but talk about her 3-year-old season, you know, after all the terrific efforts as a 2-year-old.
So we actually looked forward to running her in the Appalachian at Keeneland. Unfortunately, she had come into season, into heat just before that. So she was acting, you know, she was fine. She was sound, just was being a little, bucking a lot, urinating a lot, and just was not herself. So I had recommended to the owner, Mr. Doyle, that we skip the Appalachian. And so he understood, and we did. So we were fortunate enough not to have run her the way she was acting, especially if we were going to be, you know, at Keeneland and just
away from home.
Yeah. So now she looked great and was, you know, I was really pleased with how she was doing, but just unfortunate. So that was a minor setback there. Then, we had, targeted the Belmont Oaks, and we were going to, have a race beforehand in the Wonder again. Unfortunately, that race came off the turf, and Mr. Doyle said, let's run her. Let's see how she does. And unfortunately, she didn't handle the surface. I must say, Frankie minded her and just kind of wrapped up on her when he saw that she wasn't going to get anything. And that's the reason she got beat 25 and a half lengths or so.
So put a line through it.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, having not gotten anything out of that, going into the Belmont Oaks against, at that time, two of the best horses on the East Coast in Nitrogen and Fion, she was up against it. But I must say, running fourth, only beaten 4 lengths, which I considered her first race of the year, I thought she ran exceptionally well, to be honest with you. So with that said, we targeted the Lake Placid as it was the distance would help. I think she, according to Frankie, that she preferred a mile, 7/8, he even said, distance, as opposed to going longer. So the Lake Placid was the target. And knowing that she had gotten something out of the Belmont Oaks, I thought we were, we'd be ready for this, especially with the last 3 works and actually her second work prior to this race. She went, some clockers had a 46 and change, 59, out in 113 on the turf here at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So she worked extremely well.
By the way, a bullet of 80 horses to work that day.
Right. A little quicker than I wanted.
Probably.
Absolutely, a little quicker, no doubt about that. But Martin Pedroza, who I rode out in California, he worked her that day, and he said she did it easily, and so he was really, really pleased with her.
Wow.
And so the decision was made after that to go with Jose Ortiz. Mr. Doyle decided to just make a change, and I had Jose work her her last work last Sunday, and he was really, really pleased. I told him, just let's go do something steady. She did enough last week. If we go in 50, 49, if we have, I'd be happy with that. And he worked her, and he loved her. So
still went in 48 and 2.
Yeah, so she worked really well. And he said that, she just did it easily. So I was really pleased. I was pleased that he liked her and liked the way she went. So I knew that we'd run well in the Lake Placid. I just didn't know, I had a feeling we might be on the lead, to be honest with you. But, I just didn't know if, like Jose said in the paddock, there was a little speed outside.
A little bit.
Right.
Let's take a look at the replay, because she does essentially go wire to wire, which is completely out of character for her if you look at the PPs. And so talk a little bit about if you did have some strategy to go this way coming out of the paddock and having talked to Jose, or if it was just the way things fell into place, and give us your thoughts as she took them all the way around.
So I never really like to give instructions, especially to Jose or Irad or Flavian or really anyone, because things happen.
Yeah.
And as you notice here, she broke a little tardy, little out. And but I think Jose saw that Joelle wasn't going to go, and he said, okay, let me get going. And so I had, prior to the race, I had a feeling that we might be on the lead. Obviously, I didn't say anything to Jose other than, what are you thinking? And get his idea just so I can see what he thinks, how the race is going to take shape. But if you watch the race at Keeneland and the Jessamine, she breaks. Frankie kind of maybe just asked her a little bit to, wake up. And going into the first turn, you could see Frankie checking her down there at Keeneland. And so I knew that should Jose want the lead or should Jose ask her, she's going to go. And but of course, I wasn't going to say anything to Jose. He knows, He knows what he's doing. So
I'm guessing as they're going around, you're looking at the clock and you're seeing 49 and change and 113 and change. You're feeling pretty good.
yeah, so I was, you know, and you know, last fall, Jose wrote a filly called Master of the Tunes for me, and he did the same thing at Aqueduct. Broke, went to the front, kind of slowed it down, and then drew off. You know, so I was hoping that that would be the case yesterday, and he did. He, you know, 24 and change, 49 and change.
And things have to get a little dicey as the favorite kind of tips out.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, with that said, the favorite did get in a little bit tight, you know, whether it was around the half-mile pole or so. Looked like Flavian wanted to come up the inside there if you take a look, and he had to kind of check. So unfortunately for him, you know, but I guess that's racing, you know. So I've been in a lot of situations where we've gotten the brunt end of it.
Exactly.
So, but she sprinted away, and you know, coming home, I think 22-1, something along the, you know, last quarter, and you know, so. But I mean, all the credit to Jose on.
How'd she come out of it?
Yeah, she looks good this morning. You know, ate up last night. Legs look good. She's walking around there really well this morning. So yeah, knock on wood, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it was a really nice performance yesterday. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Joe, talk about Katie Rich, about the Doyles, and how'd you hook up?
So when I was working for Kieran McLaughlin, Jimmy Doyle and Larry Doyle, they had horses that they would send up to Kieran to run for them, and so I had helped out. And actually, when Kieran retired in 2020, Larry had sent me a horse, Mazel 18.
Oh yeah.
And so that was the start of that
The
relationship. Right.
Because they've got a very nice boutique operation, and you know, to get your hands on a horse like this, you should mention Tappet filly out of the very nice Nemarelia, and bred by Peter Brandt,
correct,
White Birch, and $325,000 purchase, and you know, to be entrusted with this horse, it sends a message, frankly, like we just talked with Derek.
Right. So, I mean, absolutely fortunate. I mean, you know, George Barn, the farm manager, they sent me, works for me as a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were, you know, fortunate enough to do well. We won the Notebook. And then, you know, carrying on to the following year, they purchased Mayday Ready for $325,000 out of the OBS sale and sent her to me. So I can't be more than, you know, truly grateful to the Doyles, Karen, Larry, even brother Jimmy has sent me horses as well. So, you know, so I can't say enough, but they have a really nice farm. They, you know, from the farm manager to the, you would call him, say, maintenance manager, you know, all around, man. Elmo down there, he does a great job. Everyone does a great job. I mean, you know, if you go to the farm, everything's well looked after. And so I can't say enough about the job that Katie Rich does.
One of the things that is worth asking about, you know, people, you know, see these fields get drawn and they thought, oh, there's only 6 in the Lake Placid. She is a Kentucky bred, and with Kentucky Downs starting next week, and there's opportunities for her, you know, there for multi-million dollars. I mean, nothing wrong with a $400,000 grade 2. Did that topic come up at all, the Kentucky Downs?
So it was a topic prior to the race, prior to a few days before the race, actually. And Larry loves Kentucky Downs. So last year we broke our maiden here.
Yep.
And Larry right away wanted to,
the juvenile race.
Exactly. So we shipped down there, and we were fortunate enough to win. And so the thought was to go back there. Now the race this year, it's 1 mile and 5/16, and so it was a bit of a stretch, you know. being a little longer than we had wanted. So George Barnes, the farm manager president of Katie Rich, actually sent a text last week, probably, should she run well in the Lake Placid, thinking that she would probably prefer a mile as opposed to a mile and an eighth in the QE2 or the mile and 5/16 down in Kentucky Downs. The thought was if she ran well in the Lake Placid, to maybe target the Winter Memories, like a month later at Aqueduct, the Valley View, which is a month later at Keeneland. Right. So probably target those races and then possibly the Matriarch, correct, out in Del Mar after that. So that was the thought prior to the race.
Well, and what's interesting about her is, she's now got 2 wins at Saratoga. She won it. She ran fabulously well in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf last year. So, you know that you're confident going there because that's a funky little turf course. It's a very tight oval. Mm-hmm. And so, frankly, the way she ran here on the inner translates well to Del Mar's turns. But the fact that she came down the hill in that mile juvenile last year, Kentucky Downs, I mean, there's horses you bring there, and they may, on paper, they may look like a star. When they hit the crest of that hill, and suddenly they're running downhill, they get scared and they start to get, tentative.
Right.
She absolutely loved it.
So I've got to say a little story behind that. We shipped into Joe Sharp's barn, and so I know Joe Sharp's mom, Sarah. We grew up riding, learning to ride horses at Payson Park 45 years ago, early 80s. So we shipped into Joe Sharp's barn, and actually Jesse, who rode the filly for me at Keeneland before the Jessamine, actually rode her a few days here before Saratoga, was going to get on her for me. And we were kind of waiting for him to come, and he was busy, and I felt kind of, bad that I was, he was trying to do me a favor, but he had a lot for Rob to get on, Rob Atras. So Joe Sharp said, look, I'll jump on her for you if you like. And I said, okay. I said, I feel bad now that I'm taking Jesse off. He's trying to help me out, hustling around, doing, but I said, all right. So Joe jumped on her for me, and he went around there, and he came back and he says, I'm going to tell you what. He says, I bring a stable down here every year, and I can tell you which ones like it and which ones don't.
Yeah.
He says, I'm going to tell you what, this filly loves this. She'll run well here. And I said, really? He says, no problem handling the up, the downs.
Unbelievable.
She just got over it. So it was interesting. Joe Sharp, knew what he was talking about. He got on the next few days for me, and she ended up winning.
And you end up winning a $1 million pot.
Right.
$1 million 2-year-old race.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I'll say this: it says a lot about the Doyles and about, you talked about George Barnes. It says a lot about Katie Rich that with that knowledge and with that experience, they opted to do what you guys as a team feels was a better fit for her at this point in her career, as opposed to go just because it's a $2 million pot.
Right. So I've got to say that, I think, I know, I hate to say, but I mean, I think Larry has a lot of respect for me, and which is great because I have a lot of respect for Larry, a lot of respect for George, a lot of respect for, a lot of people that I deal with or that I know. So, but I must say that, right, he's actually taken it off the table now. And as much as he loves Kentucky Downs, he's decided to try and, do what's right for her.
She'd go run in the ladies' turf next year, and as a 4-year-old.
Right.
And one of the opportunities you've got here is there's a very pronounced 3-year-old filly exclusive turf schedule that's laid out, and you laid it out, the QE2 and the stuff downstate, and then the Matriarch in November, at the end of November, back at Del Mar. So
I will say also, prior to the, when nominations were due, we actually nominated her for the 3 and up mile at Kentucky Downs. Should it have rained, say, yesterday, and they took it off the turf, the plan was to go down there, even though it was 3 and up. Like you say, she liked it down there. she ran well, obviously. So the plan was to, even though it was 3 and up, to run her down there going a mile. So yeah, that was the backup plan.
You brought up Works for Me. I'm glad you did, because I pulled up a replay going back to the Harvey Pack earlier in the meet. This is a nice little New York bred that you've had win some open stakes. The Harvey Pack was an open stake, and you're going to wind up just coming up short behind Bring the Band Back Home for Marquesi and Live Oak. That one came back and won the Troy, so that's a nice runner. So Works for Me, going to be the number 6 horse here with a good second place finish. I saw that Works for Me just worked a couple of days ago. What might be ahead for Works for Me?
So the Disco Partners next week, next Sunday, and that's the plan.
Okay.
Unfortunately, out of this race, if you watch the replay, going down the backside, unfortunately, he got bounced around a little bit by Johnny V was on Tom Morley's horse, and that's the way racing goes. But unfortunately, out of the race, he nicked his left front leg. Even though we were right on top of it with cleaning it and with hydroperoxide, we gave her antibiotics with the vet. The vet treated him. It still came up with an infection, and it ended up kind of going the wrong way, and proud flesh and so forth, and so he's walked for a little longer than I had wanted, but he's doing well now. We're behind the 8 ball a little bit with regards to works. Would have liked to had a few more. I actually
like a couple since that last.
Yeah, so I worked him last Sunday, and then I thought it was going to rain today, and so I opted to change it to Friday. So I actually worked back in 5 days.
And for people who don't know, turf works are only Fridays and Sundays across the street.
That's correct.
If then, if weather interrupts, they same as taking races off the turf.
Correct.
They'll cancel turf works. Somebody spits on the course.
Right. So it's so it's something I like I said, I'm behind the 8 ball a little bit getting there, to be honest. But I really, if you watch the race, prior to the Harvey Pack, the allowance race, he really stretched out really well there once he got through up the rail, and so he's a nice horse. I really like him. But I'm being honest. I'm hoping that we can get in him what we need to this week for him to perform at his best on Sunday.
Ended the season last year with the Turf Sprint Championship down at Aqueduct. This is a nice little New York brand.
Yeah, he's got a great heart, and he's great attitude, and I really like him. And like I said, the Doyles, they had sent me him as a 2-year-old last year, and I think he's nearly made 400-something thousand now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so
just under 400.
So he's a great horse to be around.
Jimmy Doyle's got that long-legged queen who's due to work tomorrow.
She actually ran. So I don't train her anymore.
Oh, is that right?
So Mr. Doyle, Jimmy took out his license last fall, and he ran long-legged queen last year, and then he sent her to me and Sandy's Garden last winter, and I was fortunate enough to win with both of them prior to the spring opening up here, and Jimmy taking him. He actually has a farm, a stable down here on Gridley, just past the Bonds. On the right hand side.
The last one, Jefferson.
That's right.
That's
correct.
him?
Right on the
Oh,
corner.
wow,
Yeah.
that's wild.
So that's Jimmy Doyle's place, Larry's brother.
Yeah.
And so it's
The
something he
little barn's
wanted.
right on the end of the street.
That's correct.
I drove by the other day and wondered who that was.
Yeah, so Sandy's Garden's actually in there, and Long-Legged Queen, who ran yesterday, is in there. So it's just something he took out his trainer's license last fall, and it's something he likes to do, and he keeps busy, and so I knew that was going to happen, but I got fortunate enough to. Sandy's Garden won before she left, and so did Long-Legged Queen.
Charles J.
And so Charles J was actually purchased. He was bred by Jimmy. Jimmy did breed him. Was actually purchased from him last year, and runs under JADS Racing now. And we won with him, and we've had a couple of thirds this year.
He's run well. He gets he cashes checks.
Right. So he's going to run September. Knock on wood, stays on the grass. There's a race on right. Correct.
Is Jim the lawyer in town? Am I thinking
Yes,
the right
he
guy?
is. Yes, he is.
Years ago, he and I did TV back here.
Okay.
Yeah, say hello for me. I went to go down to the paddock the other day and say hello.
Sure.
But
yes, he is.
Back in the day, when I was doing small production, Jim would be in front of the camera and I'd be behind.
He's got real estate and so forth.
At that point, he wasn't a lawyer. Moved on to being a lawyer, and
right.
I knew the Jim I knew was training, but I wasn't sure as we were talking with Katie Rich and whatnot whether we were talking the same guy. But
right.
Back in the day,
yeah.
He travels in elite circles. He's a mover.
He's a shaker. He is. He's very nice. He's great. He's been super nice to me, my family, Mr. and Mr. Larry, everyone. Both of them have really been super nice.
Much like the conversation we had with Derek, when you're operating a small string, you gotta latch on, or somebody has to,
help you out.
Find their way to you. It's key.
I mean,
it's key.
I mean, my daughter, she started a job here for Naira, and she's actually staying, with the Doyles, and tough to find a place to stay, as you know, and it's expensive, but they've actually been so kind to let her stay with them, and Jimmy's helped us out as well. So really, I can't say enough about how the Doyles have helped us out. So
well, and you've rewarded their confidence. Managing, particularly Mayday Ready. This is
thank you.
This is tremendous.
Thank you very much.
I just noticed. I hadn't really noticed before that she was a May foal.
Right. I'm not sure exactly if it's why they call her Mayday Ready, but yeah, she is a May foal.
Yeah. And that mare.
Second in the Frizette, third in the Breeders' Cup. I mean, she nice filly. I mean, Frankie rode her. Joel rode her in the Breeders' Cup, and came running late. So she was a runner herself.
Was it Graham? Who trained her? Noseda.
Jeremy Noseda trained her. Yep.
Okay. I
trained her in England. Frankie rode her in England. Joel rode her here.
Yeah, for Peter and Joe Allen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah, no, she's.
Well, it was a nice win yesterday. Always nice to get a stakes win on Travers Day and in front of the big crowd. So good job there. We'll be looking for a Mayday Ready going forward, and have our fingers crossed as well for Works for Me next weekend potentially.
Thank you so much.
Wrap up the meet in good fashion.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, we will wrap up Loose on the Lead because we're already late. But Steve, any last words? Because it's your last appearance.
It is. Thanks as always. It's been a fun summer. It went by in an absolute blur. Really? And heading to Kentucky Downs. We'll be there and at Keeneland and Churchill, and then to Pennsylvania and to Fair Hill as well. So the next 5 weeks pretty much on the road. I want to thank Callie Francois. We got Callie to come up, and she's filled in on these Sundays and has been terrific for Capital all season long. So thanks to Callie for making the trip up the Northway. And Seth, I really didn't see you much. This was. But I still got my shots in. I still was able to set you a couple
before
of
the
times.
last commercial on the Handicappers Report. Just 5, 4, 3. He makes a comment about the tie. Just don't lead into the.
I wanted to send you off with a smile. Thanks to everybody who was so kind to both of us, and of course to all the guests that come in. And best of luck. We've got 7 race days remaining. It's been, I know we had a little bit of a weather, rough start that opening few days, but since then, the meet has been spectacular, and it's finished with a flourish.
Highlighted by some great performances yesterday, including your runner. So we have 7 more days left. However, make the most of it. Appreciate you tuning in this morning. Travel safe.
Thank you.
And I'll check in radio side for you over the next couple of weeks as well. But we'll wrap it up for this morning. Stay tuned for this afternoon. I will look at the scratches, put together the pick 3 bankroll plays, and we'll put those out. I will display them on the network, but they'll be on the website and whatnot as well. Hopefully, we'll knock it out of the park for the bankroll team. Don't forget, we're wrapping it up for this morning, but we're back in to kick off the last week on Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. handicapper support, 10 a.m. racing across America. See you then.
Loose on the Lead is sponsored by
ET at 14 to win this 360. He's not really fancy today, is he? And on the basis of his last 2 runs, you can see he needs to do better. One more, no more. Connor Planners for Charlie McBride. They had a winner earlier on